What do high budget brand campaigns, cinematic drone shots, and podcasts that actually stick have in common? For Adam Lalani, it's about telling stories that stop the scroll and spark action. Today, we're diving into branded video, what makes content perform in 2025, and why podcasting is still one of the most underrated tools in digital marketing. Kicking off today's episode with someone who knows exactly what it takes to make video not just watchable, but memorable is Adam Lalani. He's the founder of Lalani Media, a full-service content production company specializing in branded video, photography, drone, and podcasting. He's worked with many major brands to create content that not only looks incredible, but actually performs. And if you've wondered why you heard it here, looks and sounds so good, Adam and his team are the ones making it happen behind the scenes.
Awesome. Thank you, Kassie, for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you, in front of the camera versus behind the camera.
Definitely a different experience.
Yes. So can you tell me about your journey and what led you to start Lalani Media?
So ironically, it was going to hang out with a friend who was going to a nightclub, and she's like, hey, do you want to meet this DJ? And at that time I was 21 and I was like, that would sound incredible. But she's like, you can't go as just a random person. You have to borrow a camera from a friend and act like a photographer. So we'll have a reason for you coming with me. And I snuck in, had a camera, and ironically, I had an incredible time. And I was like, this is fun, and I think I could do this. And at the time, I was really trying to figure out where I wanted to take my career, but I knew a lot about Photoshop and just editing and just the technical aspects of good photography and media. So then I ended up just running with it. I learned photography and then soon became one of the notable nightlife photographers. I ended up shooting Ultra Music Festival and Electric Daisy Carnival, working for multiple publications. And ironically, after that, I ended up becoming a wedding photographer, which if you know anyone who's a photographer, usually that's a natural progression, is doing the things that you enjoy and then doing wedding photography because it makes really great money. And then after that, I ended up transitioning out of wedding photography. I just kind of fell out of love with it a little bit. And ironically, all of those promoters that were working at the nightclubs that I was taking photos of grew up to be heads of PR firms who needed photography and videography. And then drones came out, so that we added that as a service. And it just always saying yes and always trying to partner up with my clients and do what's best for them evolved the company into what it is today. When a lot of people ask me, hey, why do you do, or how did you figure out to do that? It wasn't necessarily me drawing up a 10-year plan and being like, this is what I'm going to do. It's being reactive to the market, which I think is one of the reasons why the company has been so successful.
Yeah, I agree. And I think something that's kind of funny how you started is kind of like a fake it till you make it, where you literally went in like, yeah, I'm a photographer. And then you really became one. Yeah. And then also trial by fire, like jumping into those events is probably the best kind of experience you can have, because now any sort of corporate event or other event you do, it's like so organized compared to, music festivals and things changing and set lists going and crowds and people and weather. So I think it was a great experience. And then wedding itself, photography is its own niche as well. And then I even see people doing, which is very interesting. People are hiring photographers, videographers, and then they're hiring these people who are social media managers just for the wedding, for the day. And they're literally there with their iPhone just doing reels and TikToks. Yeah. And like they're in charge of like pulling together trends, which I would have never expected the wedding industry to go to. But I have a lot of friends who are starting to do that. So it's a interesting way to go about it.
It's funny. It's just reacting to the market. People are like, I love this kind of content. Why would I not have that kind of content also at one of the most important days of my life? So I feel like a lot of the trends that you see where you're like, how did you come up with this? Or how do people do that? A lot of it is just really intentional listening. Yeah. So I feel like that's why, if you would have told me wedding photography would have turned into having social media managers on site, I would have said absolutely not.
Right. Me too.
But then again, now, that makes complete sense to me, at least.
Yeah. They want someone to post those in the moment content and it not be them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So it makes sense. So you do cover it all: video, photo, drone, podcasting. It's probably a loaded question because I'm sure this answer changes. But right now, what's your favorite type of project to work on?
Right now, I'm really in love with podcasting. And obviously, I'm a little biased because I'm currently doing one right now.
Yes.
But I would say that I love podcasting because I feel like there's such an emphasis on short form content. And I feel like podcasting is the perfect marriage of being able to have meaningful conversations and create great long form content while also being able to harvest lots of short form content out of it. A lot of the times when I have clients that reach out to me, they're like, hey, I want to do a bunch of short form content. And it's like, okay, what ideas do you have? And instead, you're able to have really meaningful conversations and create kind of like a legacy and a brand overall while still having the frequency that's needed for that kind of short form content. So right now that's awesome.
And that makes sense. Even for myself, when I was, teetering on starting a podcast, talking with you about it, it was, I do all this content for all my clients, but I have no content for myself. And to have to invest in my own content is important. But how can I maximize it with little time, right? I want to spend all my time on my clients, not my time on myself. So doing these podcasts, one episode could be 20, 30 minutes, but then I have all these short form pieces of content and the content really is never ending. So I couldn't agree more.
And just to play fair, Kassie is the one that manages my social media, so don't feel super bad if you can't also do that.
Yeah.
Like even I'm in the same boat that you are.
Yeah, literally like the episode, we just did 9. Episode 9 was all about how to, leverage hiring someone and taking that off because it can be a lot. So that is what I'm here for. So what's a project that you feel really proud of?
I mean, right now, a project that I feel really proud of is definitely one of the shows that I'm working on called The Bible Show. We started that show about 18 months ago, and it was one of those things where it was the conversion of a church audio-only podcast that had a lifetime viewership or listenership of 30,000 views over the course of 8 years into a video podcast that in the last 18 months has gone from 0 subscribers, 0 views to 125,000 subscribers and about 60 million views.
It's incredible.
Again, if you ask me how I did it, I can point you in the general direction, but it's a lot of it is just hard work and consistency, which I feel like is one of those things that when it comes to making content, the unsexy part is the organization. The unsexy part is, getting down to the grindstone and knocking out those episodes, those kind of things. And that's one project that the amount of success that's come out of it versus the amount of joy that's come out of it has been equal versus a lot of projects that I'll do for, I have clients that are corporate clients that do I love the client? Absolutely. Do I love the content we're making? It serves a really great purpose for a business, but it isn't necessarily heartfelt or I feel like impactful outside of the immediate scope of that corporation. As opposed to this particular podcast, we have listeners that will leave comments saying like, you guys have blessed us, listening from Africa, listening from Australia. Yeah. So it's more of a global impact as opposed to a very localized or even commercially, confined effect.
Yes. And something that you brought up was the consistency and the hard work of it all. I was watching a clip of Gary Vee talk the other day, and he was like going on a rant because he does, as he always does.
Yeah.
He was reading questions and someone said, I'm 19, I have a laptop. How can I make $1 million this year? And he was literally on a rant of like, do the work.
Yeah.
Start a business. But like, just because you have a laptop, like everyone has a laptop. Everyone has some sort of grit, or you think they have grit, but like, put the work behind it. Like he was getting so mad, but it's true in the sense of people want an overnight success. And like you said, they've had a podcast for years. Finally, they transitioned to what, like we talked about the audience would want or what's needed out there, and it's doing well. But it's not because they did 1 or 2 episodes and they just sat on their laurel. They're continuously filming and producing, and it makes sense. So that also leads me to, how do you approach balancing creativity with the pressure for conversions and results, especially with those more corporate clients?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, you have to realize that when you're in this industry, it is a customer service-based industry. Mm-hmm. There's a distinct difference between, like I tell people all the time, that there is artists or creatives, photographers, videographers, what have you, that have to run a business in order to pay their bills. They're incredibly talented, but hate the fact that a business is needed in order to be able to convert that into cash. And there's businessmen who love the creative. I would put myself in the latter, where I'm a businessman. I love systems. I love pleasing people. I love like working with clients and like coming to success. But at the same time, like I do that via the creative work that I do. Mm-hmm. Like I very much will have clients that say, hey, like I think that I want to do X, Y, Z. Is that okay? And I'm like, this is a collaborative effort. Like you're not going to offend me with your request. Like at the end of the day, like my goal is not to create something that I'm proud of. It's to create something that we're proud of.
Yes.
So I think that a big hurdle for that is knowing that it is a customer service based business, and that at the end of the day, like literally behind you is a photo of a mountain. That mountain didn't pay the photographer to take a photo of it.
Exactly.
Instead, the person who wanted a photo of that, or the person who licensed that, that's the person who actually ended up paying for it. So
yes,
it's working with people. And
yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially, for us as an agency. I'll have potential clients say, send me accounts that you work on, send me photos of your work. And I tell them, depends on what you want to see, because you might see one client and say, oh my God, I hate that. I never want to work with Kassie and her team. And that client might be thrilled, happy, and that's what they love. So I say, I'll show you a broad spectrum, or, let's find your industry, or what are you really looking for? Because there are certain clients where, would it be my content that I would put out there? Maybe not, but it's what's doing well for their business. It's what makes them happy. And we're going to find that middle ground of, I'm still proud of the work, but it's their vision that we're bringing to life. And that's it. I mean, it's like you're a cook in a kitchen and the chef gives you the recipe. You have to make it taste good, but you have to follow the chef's recipe.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great example of like there's chefs at Michelin star restaurants that still have to make a cheeseburger.
Exactly. Yes.
And it's like, at the end of the day, like chefs there is a certain standard, but they'll just say no. Like, no, yes, I will not make that. And I tell people all the time, like, the photos and videos and content is assumed to be good of a certain quality that is acceptable. The way to go above and beyond is to make that customer feel like they got more than what they paid for.
Yes. That big under promise, over deliver.
All the time.
So everyone's creating video right now. And if they're not, they're behind, but not everyone is doing it right. What makes a difference between video that performs and video that flops in your mind?
I think it's the value proposition of the video. So like, give an example, I'll have, and I'm not saying any particular one of my clients who happen to be watching this is them.
Yeah.
But the example I use to a lot of clients is, hey, if you say, I'm having a sale on this particular product, you should buy it. If you're a consumer, you're just being advertised to. Like, there's no value proposition to that whatsoever. Right. In fact, consumers are immediately turned off by advertisements. I mean, I can't think of an ad besides maybe Super Bowl ads that I actually enjoy watching. And like, it's more so like those cost millions, tens of millions of dollars to produce, because they know the value proposition has to be incredible. So what I tell clients is that, hey, if you want to sell something, show the value to the client first and then ask for the sale.
Yes.
So don't tell them that you're having a sale on your product and that it's 10% off and they should totally buy it, because they don't understand what they're buying. Instead, if you sell, toothbrushes, you could say, hey, and again, not even saying this toothbrush is the best toothbrush you should buy, because again, that's a sale. But if you instead say, hey, most people don't brush their teeth often enough. You should really be brushing your teeth after every single meal. Mm-hmm. In fact, if you want to brush your teeth after every single meal, the toothbrush that I use is this one because it's one of the best. I gave you value by explaining something that maybe you didn't consider, didn't know. And then my product happened to be the solution to it.
Whether you use the toothbrush or not, you got a fact out of it.
1000%.
Something stuck in your mind. Yes.
Exactly. It's like providing the value proposition without asking for the sale, or having, I call it like adjacent selling.
Yes.
Like don't sell a car, and I hate this phrase because it's misused a lot, but don't sell the car, sell the feeling, or sell the value. Yeah. The value isn't necessarily saying, well, it has leather seats. The value is saying that most people get into car accidents because they don't have advanced braking systems, and this car does happen to have that. And you're like, oh, I need an advanced braking system. Yeah. And who recommended it? This guy. What car do you drive? Oh, I should get that one instead.
Yes. No, I saw a great quote the other day, and it said, the problem with marketing right now is marketers are trying to advertise to people who don't want to be advertised to.
1000%.
So it's true. Think about how many things we see a day. So it's adding value, adding entertainment, adding some form of education, but not being like, hey, buy this. Mm-hmm. When it comes to short form versus long form, I know we talked a little bit about that before. What do you think is working best for brands right now? Do you think they need to have a mix of both, or put energy into one more than the other?
I think the first portion of that is that brands need to have a persona. I feel like voiceless brands or personaless brands are very hard to sell. Like an Expedia.com is a lot harder to sell versus Geico, because the little green gecko. So I feel like that's the first step. Now, beyond that, short form versus long form, I feel like it depends on your time management. To give an example, like you've done an episode about the TSA, where the TSA has a whole team of people thinking about incredible short form content to make. Mm-hmm. That's worth it. It's not worth investing in long form content, because they want to be trendy and aggressive.
Yes.
If you want to, be a little bit less aggressive and be a little bit less frequent, then long form makes a whole lot of sense as long as the value proposition is there. Because we talked about this before rolling, that if you don't have great content that it gives you a good value proposition for your time, it doesn't really matter how long it is. Like if you make a 1 minute reel that feels like 10 minutes versus a hour-long podcast that feels like 15 minutes because it was so good, that makes more sense. But the inverse is true, where if you're like, hey man, like I really can't, my content can't be longer than 15 minutes. I just don't have the gas in me. Okay, cool. Then get really aggressive about thinking about incredible 90-second, 60-second content to make.
That makes sense. And then you mentioned it having some sort of personality or having some sort of storytelling. I mean, having to use these aspects so it's not a boring video. People need to have something to take away from it. So I think, personality, like you said, the gecko and Geico, funny, some sort of storytelling. I mean, even like I saw a funny trend on TikTok where people are making fun of Chick-fil-A because like it's like random people sitting down like in the frame on like a red couch talking about Chick-fil-A. Like here's another app, but you know what? Everyone remembers it, and they're telling a story. They're not selling, chicken sandwich or chicken nuggets. So they're really telling the story of what brings their restaurant, to life, or people who go there for a smile, and it's adding that layer to it.
Yeah. And like, I think you can swap out a persona for consistent messaging. And I think that's good because that can be a persona in and of itself.
Yes.
But when I see people that are like, I'm going to do ads and I just want you to basically make a B-roll sequence of my event or a B-roll sequence of my product. And it's like, okay, who cares? Like who's the voice behind this? Like flashing images doesn't sell anything typically. Instead, even just having even an AI voiceover of like, this product is awesome, or hey, at this, like I do a lot of work for nonprofit events and I tell them that like, you need to have someone being excited about this because without context, no one's reading your caption until they've invested in your video. It's a top-down experience. So if you didn't get my attention during the video or the photos that are shown, I'm not bothering to read the caption to see what it was about.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So true. I think a brand that does that very well is Dunkin'.
Oh yeah.
So they go way out and their visuals will be beyond, or sometimes like very like silly or almost like clip art or like, someone with no design experience did them on purpose.
Yeah.
And then you go to the caption because you're like, what is this?
Correct.
It breaks the feed, breaks the mold. So I definitely agree. So now we're going to shift to talking about podcasting because it really has exploded. I think a lot of people think, it's had its height in 2020 around COVID, but I really have noticed there's podcasts that really fell off and ones that are continuing to do well. And even though people feel like it's a saturated market, as I said earlier, not everyone's doing it right. So from your perspective as a producer, what separates a great podcast from one that just gets lost or one that falls off?
I think having a great value proposition is important, where like how much value are you providing to the viewer? I have tons of clients that will reach out to me and say, hey, I just want to do a podcast like Joe Rogan. I want to talk for 3 hours. And I'm like, just to give you frame of reference, Joe Rogan, you're talking about the guy who was a sports announcer for the UCF. No, UFC. Sorry.
Yes, UFC.
He was a sports announcer for the UFC. And then on top of that, the guy who also was the host of Fear Factor. And on top of that, the guy who's also a stand-up comedian. You think you can hold a conversation for 3 hours like this gentleman who has a laundry list of credentials.
And already a following.
And like, I'm not saying that Joe Rogan is a superhuman by any means, but I'm saying he's definitely more well-trained than you who's trying to sell an energy supplement. Exactly. Like you're not that great. Yeah. So the value proposition is incredibly important, where give an example, I'm working on one podcast right now, which should be released in the next coming weeks where it's called Raising Rebels, where it's basically how to give tools for dads in order to be able to raise their kids. So it's how to raise your kids well from the male perspective, because there's lots of content out there for women, but there's not a lot of content out there for dads of being able to know how to raise their child well.
Yeah, a lot of motherhood podcasts, but you're right. Not
ton. And instead I was like, hey guys, the value proposition has to be, this is the thing I experienced when I had this issue happen. This is the data to back up this experience. And here's the biblical foundation of also backing up the reasoning why I acted this way. Yes. So it's a triple value proposition for every single point. And we'll quote 10 to 15 different aspects of a particular subject and back it up with those 3 things. I'm like, every single thing ad nauseum, you're going to say, when it came to disciplining my child, I did this. And it's funny because the research says this, and it's funny because the Bible says this, and that's why I did it and why I think it was the right decision. Yeah. And it's from the perspective of one person who is currently a father of 5, and the kids are, I believe, in their 8 to 15 years old, like that age range, and another one who's an empty nester. So you have the guy who had his kids and now is, done the full experience, and the guy who's currently in the middle of the experience. And it's like, from a value proposition perspective, that's huge. If we had the same exact podcast with 2 dudes who just had babies, it'd be like, you don't know anything, man. Or if we had the same podcast with 2 dudes who kids are in their 30s, they'd be like, that was 30 years ago. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah. So it's balancing the value proposition of giving the viewers something that they feel like they can't get as easily somewhere else. Yeah. Because obviously they can ask their friend, but they're like, man, if I just want to listen to a podcast for 20 minutes in the car, I can do that on demand whenever I want. And then also the other big thing when it comes to doing that is making it accessible, which is why short form content is so incredibly important, because I say it's like breadcrumbs. Like if I said, hey, Cass, can you watch this hour-long podcast real quick? I just want your opinion on it. You'd be like, yeesh, I don't got 10 minutes, man. You want me to give you an hour? Yeah. Versus if I said, hey, can you watch this 1-minute clip? You'll spend that time basically for any piece of content that's out there. And then if you like that, you'll watch one, and then you watch another one, and then you watch another one. And you're like, well, I really want to understand the full context of the conversation. Then you watch the full episode. Then you watch another full episode. Then you're like, I really like these guys. I'm going to subscribe so I can see all of their stuff. And then you become a fan. That's how you grow a fan base. Right. You leave the breadcrumbs. If you can't expect to close the sale if you're not giving them little bits and pieces to chew on in order to get to the door.
It's true. And I think with our podcast, the value proposition is, people always ask me, if I pick your brain, or I have a quick question, or what do you think of this? What do you think of that? So now it's fun to be like,
watch this episode.
Here's this episode, we dive into it.
Yep.
And I even have family and friends who hear me talk and yap about social media all day long. And like, I didn't know this, or I didn't know about this. Or like, you didn't tell me. Like, there's so much to talk about. So it is that value there. And even if you have those clips to send to someone and those little quick, sound bites that also can satisfy people who need the quick answer. What's a behind the scenes element of a podcast production that most people forget about?
Planning. Rigorous planning. And I know it's the unsexy part of doing a podcast. Right. Everybody just wants to sit down and be like, and hey, this is what we're doing, and it's awesome. But the unsexy part of the podcast is planning. So the podcast production software that we use is ClickUp, which is a task management software, but we use it to manage everything. And it's one of those things where it's the most unsexy part of the entire process. Right. It's the planning, it's the management, it's the making sure things are on schedule. It's seeing how far out we are. The amount of times that I have to say, hey guys, we need to record an episode. Like, oh, why? We have 2 weeks worth. And you're like, no, we don't. And I'm like, no, let me show you a beautiful calendar that shows you exactly how much content you have. It's really important. And I feel like a lot of people, when they say, let's do a podcast, it's almost like they think that that's the easiest way to do content, when in fact, it is the best way to be able to get a lot of content, but by no means is it the easiest. You would be much better off just sitting in front of your phone in your kitchen recording like short TikToks. Like that would be way easier. Oh, the legwork is there. People don't see the legwork, but you're right. That's something that I think people underestimate. I think for me, being on the other end of it, I don't want to produce it at all. I'm happy to do the planning of the content and know what we're talking about, have guests, but there's no way that I want to edit and deal with that. But then when it comes to distribution, I love that part of it because that's naturally what I do in social media anyways. So I think it's also finding what you're good at and what you can outsource or partner with and find those people to make it happen. I think a lot of people get burnt out when they start a podcast because they try to do it all themselves. And then they're still trying to balance a business and this and that. And then if you're not consistent, people are not going to listen because they don't know when to expect a podcast episode to come out. So there's, the planning part of it really does take over. Absolutely. And the consistency is key. I've multiple times or multiple instances where we've seen, hey, we missed an episode that particular week. And it was early on, like it wasn't something that happens anymore. This is when we first started doing podcasting, and the viewership dropped off like significantly, like in the teens of percentage, where like, if I said, hey, do you want to lose 18% of your viewership today? You'd be like, whoa, no, that's, I'd hate to do that. And it's like, cool, just skip 1 week of skip 1 week of publishing, or skip 1 week of consistency. Instead of posting on Tuesday, post on Friday. You don't realize that people have a finite amount of time within their calendar to be able to consume content.
Yes.
And that if you don't provide it, they will find something else to fill that gap.
Yes. And if you think you're going to put 2 in a row, you throw them off. People listen to it on their drive, their commute. People love a routine.
Absolutely.
So Adam, as you know, we close out every episode with our guest asking them 2 questions. And this time you're up. So first one is, what's your current favorite social media platform and why?
So my current favorite social media platform is definitely YouTube.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I feel like YouTube was the original, but also YouTube is so fast to adapt to everything. And that's not to say that they had future planning. I genuinely believe they just got lucky, because all of these platforms first YouTube came out, was like long form content. Cool, we're good.
Yes.
All these other platforms came out and said, we're going to do short form content. And then they said, okay, we'll do short form content too.
Right.
And then all the other platforms are like, oh my gosh, we have no way of hosting long form content. Oh my gosh. How do we do this? We can't sell ads as effectively as YouTube because we don't have long form content. And now TikTok is like, we'll post videos that are an hour. They'll be horizontal, but it'll be small and it's fine. Or like Instagram, I think gives you a maximum runtime of like 15 minutes or something like that.
They're constantly changing it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But then again, like YouTube is like, no, like we've done this. YouTube literally just figured it out and got lucky at the beginning. But now you can literally post a podcast that's audio only, as well as a long form video, as well as short form content. And the linking between it is incredible. Like I tell people all the time that if you're not connecting your related shorts for your short form content to your long form content, you are missing out. Because the amount of times that I'm like, oh, I like this video. Let me click on the related video. Oh, that's the long form episode.
Yes.
I can now see where that came from. The amount of people that we have commenting on on TikTok and Instagram that say, where can I find the full video? And we have to respond, here's the YouTube link. YouTube has that ability to just have it embedded, versus Instagram and TikTok do not have that ability.
No, and now with all the smart TVs and smart cars, you can watch a YouTube video on your TV, just like watching TV.
Absolutely.
In my car, you can watch a YouTube video literally in your car.
Probably not safe, but that's fine.
Not when you're driving.
Cool.
Yeah, not when you're driving, when you're parked or waiting for someone, or, you're waiting for anything. But it's one of those things, if it's so accessible, that YouTube has almost become the TV anyways.
Yeah.
So I get that. And then question number 2. So what's one social media trend you wish would just go away?
So we talked about this before, so you already know my answer, but I wish a trend of repurposing other people's content without giving them real source or credit would go away. The amount of people that literally I feel like just look at our channel for the shows that I work on and go, cool, I like that one hit 100,000 views. They'll literally take the video and be like, watch this content, and just sit there staring at the screen as the video plays, and at the end of the video go, subscribe for more. I'm like, you didn't add value.
No, you didn't do edit. You didn't give a live reaction. You didn't add points. You didn't add any rebuttals. You just sat there and watched somebody else's content, made it your own for your own views. That's not cool.
No. And like that's a trend that I feel like there's a lot I've literally had conversations with people being like, hey, I am the producer of this show.
Yeah.
I see that you're doing it. Would you mind tagging us? And I'm super polite about it, because genuinely, you don't know the financial situations of these people. This could literally be the only way that they're paying their bills. Like there is circumstances that are out of control.
Creativity to it.
And again, maybe they don't have time.
Right.
I don't know their financial circumstances, And I will say that the majority of them won't respond. The smaller or the bigger minority will say, oh, sorry, I didn't do that, and then not actually follow up and actually add us as a tag. And the vast minority, like the very, very small percentile, will say, I'm so sorry, and tag us in a comment 500 comments down. And I'm like, it bothers me personally, just because I feel like these guys work so hard on these shows. We work so hard in creating the content. I feel like it's a ripoff
kind of, or a bootleg.
Well, because like there's a distinct difference between saying like, hey, look at this content and this is where I got it, and being like, I'm a curator of content, which we have found. We have a few channels that will curate our content, where they're like, hey, we love Christian content. We'd love to curate some of your content from whatever sources you create, and we'll give you credit. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. You're helping.
You're putting a collection together together, sure.
Love it. Like,
Yes.
that sounds awesome. If they want to make playlist of certain videos of certain subject matters and that they do it that way, that's awesome.
Right.
But straight up, people, like, I feel like people, and again, I do a lot of like coding and automations at the background. I'm like 90% sure they're just dudes that have like a ticker that says, oh, it hit 100,000.
Let's go for it.
Repost it. And because we know it's going to be successful. And it's like, dude, that's not cool. So
No.
if that's the one trend I wish would die. Personally.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, thank you so much for joining us and for being the mastermind behind the scenes of our podcast every week. Your insight into video, branded content, and podcasting is exactly what creators and businesses need right now. We will link your socials and Lalani Media's socials in the show notes so everyone can give you a follow. And thanks again for being part of the herd.
Thank you.